On Issues and Insiders today, we speak with two special chefs for their take on the continuing popularity of K-food on global dining tables. Hello and welcome. It's Thursday here in Korea and you're watching another edition of Issues and Insiders. I'm Min Sunhee. The latest Korean fast food that is creating a buzz over in the US, as reported by the New York Times, is Buldak carbonara by Korea's Samyang Foods. For more on this, I have Chef Judy Joo live on the line. Judy, it's a pleasure to have you on.
Thank you for having me.
I also have Chef Ryan Phillips with us. Ryan, it's lovely to have you with us as well.
Hi, Sunny. How you doing?
Fine, thank you. Judy, first then, following frozen kimbap in the US, what do you believe is behind the buzz about these instant noodles, Buldak carbonara?
You know what? You're taking two of the greatest dishes that have ever been invented and you're combining them. I mean, who doesn't love spaghetti carbonara and instant noodles? So you're taking something that is an iconic dish and something that is so loved in Korea and just mashing them together. So of course it's going to be successful. Cheesy instant ramen noodles, why not?
Have you tried them, Judy?
I actually have not yet, but I have to say at the end of last year, I was working with Jongga Kimchi and we invented a mac and cheese ramen for them based on their kimchi ramen noodles, which is pretty much exactly what this is. Yeah.
That sounds delicious, Judy. If you were asked then to pair Buldak carbonara with a side dish, what would you choose?
You know, I would probably say, I don't know if this counts as a side dish, but an ice cold beer for sure. And I would say maybe some like garlic bread spread with gochujang. So you're getting some of the Korean and Italian influence.
Right, for sure. Ryan, you know the movie Parasite? It started a craze for Jjapaguri with steak. Have you tried that? Because I was hooked for over a month.
No, but I have tried both of those separately, and so I can guess what they would taste like together for sure.
Well, what about
a lot of good flavor?
Right, for sure. Ryan, what about Buldak carbonara? Have you tried it?
Absolutely. It's a guilty pleasure of mine. I don't go for the instant food very often, but I have been known to kind of binge on it from time to time.
Right. And now, Ryan, and do correct me if I'm wrong, it seems that taste is just one factor behind the popularity of a particular food, and that social media platforms these days particularly play a very important role. What are your thoughts?
Well, definitely. You know, what was it, 2 weeks ago, Cardi B, or 3 weeks ago, Cardi B put out that video of trying that, and then 14 million people saw it in 24 hours. You know, that's just the nudge people need to try something. But then those first people that try it and then comment about it to their friends, oh my God, it's so good. That's what creates the wave and for something to go viral. And so it has to taste good as well as have that celebrity, you know, incentive there as well. So.
Right. Judy, I hear you also started a Hotteok trend by sharing its recipe on the New York Times. Is this sweet snack a personal favorite for you? I mean, why Hotteok?
I mean, I've always loved Hotteok. It's one of, I think, Korea's iconic foods. It's so incredibly uniquely different. You know, a flat donut that's stuffed with, you know, anything from savory and sweet. And in the New York Times, I did a recipe with, I just jazzed it up a little bit with salted caramel on the inside, and it's gone down like a storm, getting so many emails and social media messages all about it. But you know, it's very easy to make from scratch, and it's so much better when you do it this way also, just because the dough comes out nice and soft and it's hot and crispy and chewy and the inside's nice and melted. So it really is worth the extra effort to make it from scratch.
Right. Ryan, what would you choose to highlight perhaps as some notable changes, if I may, in enjoying Korean dishes over the past recent years?
As far as changes, well, I love that my niece back in Texas, she's only 7 years old, and she'll go kicking and screaming if they pass by the Korean barbecue restaurant and she doesn't get to try it. When I didn't get to try a Korean barbecue growing up in Texas until I was probably about 16 or 17 years old. So just the availability across at least the United States is a huge thing. I love it. It's when I go back and visit friends and family in America, not only are they saying, hey, I tried Korean barbecue, but they're saying, hey, I made kimchi this past winter. And they all want to talk about it with me.
All right, Judy, I extend the same question to you. What would you choose to highlight as some of the changes in enjoying Korean food in recent years?
It's obviously becoming so much more popular. And I think that's really been driven by K-pop and Korean dramas in particular. People are just, asking what are they eating, what are they drinking, and they want a taste of what all of their favorite actors and actresses and K-pop stars are enjoying. And it's also been driven a lot by social media as well. Everybody wants to have a taste of all of these things that are going viral. And I love the fact that it's expanding beyond just Korean barbecue and some of the most iconic dishes like Korean fried chicken. People are getting their hands dirty and trying things like budae or kimchi jjigae, some of the more, I guess, I don't know, not as user-friendly type foods, but they're excited, which is really, really fun to see.
Right, for sure. Judy, the global popularity of Korean dishes in general, it's said to be fueling exports of agricultural products, Korea's agricultural products. Generally speaking, what do you believe are the merits of Korean ingredients, if I may?
I think that Korean ingredients are known in the West to be of a high quality. There's definitely a standard that is associated with Korean products in general, and that also comes from K-beauty and just the quality that Koreans upheld. So I think that that's definitely something that is being seen across the board. So even when I pick up Korean ingredients, I'm always looking like, where was it made? And if it's been made in Korea, I know it's going to taste good and be of high quality.
And Ryan, how important would you say are Korean ingredients or are ingredients in general in bringing perhaps to taste Korea's unique flavors?
Well, I'm the farmer chef. I've been growing my own ingredients here for now it's 13, 14 years. And it's because then you get to have total control over the flavors you get to use in the kitchen. There's no comparison. And there's still so many wonderful farmers here producing incredible ingredients across Korea.
And that being said, Ryan, what made you venture out here to Korea to perhaps start on your culinary venture?
Oh, Korea's been so good to me. I came here about 18 years ago just to be a culinary professor for a short time, I thought. And here I am, still here. And I'm actually on the set of One Day, One Korea. We're filming a few episodes. We just did Jeyuk Bokum tacos, and now we're going into another episode here in a minute. This country has been just wonderful to me.
And what has been the response to your online efforts to promote Korean dishes?
So far, so good. We've done a few things with Arirang over the years. But I think this one that we're working on now, the team is incredible. Hopefully they're not too mad at me right now for slowing things down today by meeting with you guys.
Oh, we're very grateful for your time, though. And Judy, same question to you. Tell us a bit about your personal venture into promoting Korean food.
Yeah, I mean, I have seen in my lifetime, having grown up in New Jersey, being embarrassed for my lunchbox to now it's my social media is literally bombarded by people asking me all types of questions about Korean food, and the cultural voyeurism that I've seen happen is really remarkable. It's gone a complete 180. When I was growing up, people didn't even know where Korea was or what Korea was. Is it part of China or Japan? And now Korea very much has its own identity, and people cannot get enough of Korean culture. And that comes with the food too. Oftentimes people's first entryway into exploring a new culture is through the food. So it makes me so incredibly happy and proud to see people and in these images too of all different, races and colors and religions, getting their hands dirty and trying Korean food so enthusiastically.
Right, and staying with what Judy has just said, Ryan, with regard to efforts to promote Korean dishes on international dining tables, there is always the debate of whether to keep the food strictly Korean or whether to include in the dishes a flair of foreign tastes. What are your thoughts on this?
I'm traditional all the way, normally, but I have learned that people have to ease into things a little bit. So I wouldn't go straight to jonggukjang or the strong fermented soybean soup with the first entry level dish for my friends back in the West. But definitely starting out a little simpler with some other soups or kimbap or so many others. Galbi-chim, for example. That's easy. And then after they get their feet wet with those, then they can start to try the other ones.
Right. And speaking about cooking, Ryan, I have a daughter in college overseas, and she completely likes Korean food, of course. She is Korean. If she were to make a dish, a Korean dish, in the absence of Korean ingredients, what could she try to make?
Well, I tell you one that works really well in the West is dak galbi. If she's probably got an Asian supermarket near her, and you don't need a whole lot of real specialty ingredients, and her foreign friends around her would probably all like that very much. It's an easy fix.
And what about you, Judy? What would you recommend for my daughter to make?
I think probably like a Korean barbecue or a Korean beef barbecue, like bulgogi or kalbi. You really just need soy sauce or sesame oil as specialty ingredients, and everything else can really be bought in any type of grocery store. And yeah, it's really not something hard to do. Or even bibimbap. You don't have to have gochujang. You can make the sauce out of just soy sauce or something that isn't particularly spicy and drizzle it over rice and vegetables.
Right, for sure. Ryan, what would you suggest to truly perhaps indulge in the Korean dining experience?
Oh, that's an easy one. Kanjanggaejang for sure. The raw marinated crab. There's nothing like it. I've had things similar in China, but not the same. The Korean kanjanggaejang or the raw marinated crab is by far my favorite Korean dish and maybe my favorite dish, period, in the world.
Right, talking about favorite dishes then, Judy, what is your favorite dish with regard to Korean food, of course?
Sundubujigae, the silken spicy tofu soup. I love it.
Yeah.
And
yes, it's always my first meal when I land in Korea. Yeah.
Would you say it's an acquired taste? It's quite spicy.
I think maybe because I do have a lot of friends who will not eat anything spicy, and a bowl of bubbling hot red liquid I think would be a little bit scary to them, but it's not incredibly spicy, but I always order mine extra spicy.
I see. Me too. Ryan, with regard to enjoying Korean culinary experiences, some say that the whole practice, perhaps, of sitting around a table with a place where you can actually cook with regard to, because you mentioned Korean barbecue earlier on, we actually have a table where you can cook the meat and then eat it at the table with your friends. That kind of experience, do you suppose that's also part of enjoying the Korean cuisine?
It definitely is for my 7-year-old niece. I think that when I was a kid, I remember we would go to one, I believe it was a Chinese American restaurant, and there was one appetizer you could get that came out with a little fire on it. And we wanted it every time because of that fire. It's a show. It's fun. Of course, kids are going to love it. And there's nowhere better way to get fresh food than to cook it right at your table.
Right, of course. Judy, I understand that prior to your venture in Korean cuisine, you were actually in the financial industry and then shifted to becoming a chef. Could you tell us a bit about this personal journey into cooking for you, from finance to dishes on tables?
Yeah, so I've had a very serendipitous route into the kitchen. I started out as an engineering major in undergrad, and then I went to finance working, at, Goldman Sachs and Morgan Stanley, and I was trading and selling fixed income derivatives. And then much to the chagrin of my very Korean parents, I quit one day and decided to go to cooking school and embark upon this journey into kitchens and restaurants. I really just felt that it was time to follow my passion and not a paycheck. And life was too short to live my parents' dream that they had for me and not my own dream.
Right.
So I was a bit of a rebel. Yeah.
And Ryan, what about you? What made you change your career from being a professor, was it, in cuisine, to actually becoming an organic farmer and a chef here in South Korea?
Well, Judy, actually, I was in finance too, but only for a couple of years right out of my undergrad. And actually, Judy, we met. I'm a big fan. We met in Seoul about 15 or 16. No, maybe it wasn't that. Maybe it was about 10 years ago. You were in the country. A friend of yours was about to open a seasonal restaurant, and we were in the same group, hanging out with some restaurateurs in Hannamdong,
Oh,
just
wow.
around the corner.
A reunion
So
for the
it's
two
nice
of you
to
here.
see you again. Yeah, it's been a while. Yeah. But yeah, just feel very fortunate to be here. I shifted over to culinary because I just loved working in restaurants when I was in high school and college. And then the finance degree, I was in front of that computer all the time, and it just wasn't working for me. And I went right back to the chef world, got lucky and became executive chef at 22, 23 years old back in Texas, and then never looked back, really.
Well, that's remarkable. Judy, according to one tally, some Korean restaurants, a growing number of Korean restaurants in New York are Michelin starred now, and their numbers apparently are rising. What do you believe are the broader implications of this particular reality?
I think it's fantastic, and it's actually showcasing Korean food in a very luxurious and elegant way. It's showing that Korean food doesn't have to be, you know, this down and dirty kind of student food. It can also be a Michelin-starred, beautiful, luxurious experience that really showcases, you know, Korean culture in many different ways. You know, when you go out to a restaurant, it's not just about the food, it's about what the food is served in. You know, what are the plates, showcasing Korean ceramics, what does the ambiance look like, you know, showcasing all of Korea's colors, textures, fabric, architecture, art. So I think it's an amazing thing for Korean food, and to really show people that that Korean food is very wide and diverse in many different ways, in terms of whether it's street food or it is food that can be enjoyed, you know, at a very high level as well.
Right, for sure. All right, Judy, thank you so much for your time and your thoughts today. And Ryan, also, thank you so much. And have a great recording session today.
Thanks.
Right, well, that brings us to the end of this edition of Issues and Insiders. Thank you for watching. See you same time tomorrow. That is Friday.